Moving now to our special focus on Verdict tonight. Cupid is spoiled for choice on the internet. Forget looking in your neighborhood, college or amongst your social circle for your true love. The internet opens up a whole new digital world for young Indians. Opportunities of finding a partner from any region, any shape, size, color. But are we equipped to handle the love bug?
Finding the right soulmate, friend or love is now just a couple of clicks away. A majority of young internet users are accessing the love and friendship sites on the internet like Match.com and Yahoo Personals. Observers say the number of people now entering the virtual love arena has reached critical mass.
Last few months I've been single and I don't have a big social circle of friends and all. Plus the occupation I'm in the field, it's a telecom field, so very less women in that. So I get to interact like very less with women.
It's nice at times to come across people you might like talking to, you know, but you haven't met ever. You get to meet people who are pretty intellectual. You get to meet people who are, you know, who are very, they probably at times do not do too much of intelligent talking, but you just have a good time through just chatting.
The new age internet intimacy is introducing a different kind of eroticism in the lives of young people, the eroticism of words. What you write becomes who you are or what you would want the other person to believe. Researchers found that 50% admitted to lying online. For instance, about the way they looked, about whether they were married or about their age.
My brother reveals his age as 21 years old on net. And he's 10 years old. My brother is 13 years old. He does that on net.
We have a classmate, she's been, chatting since past 2-3 months to a guy, and he's older, 8 or 10 years, 8 years I think, and he's a professional, and just because, she's seen his pics and he's all macho and stuff, and she talks 24/7 about him, so I think she is under the threat of falling for him. It can be dangerous.
There is concern that the virtual world harbors predators who manipulate young boys and girls in chat rooms and exchange pornographic pictures and videos with them.
But my dad is, of course, petrified that I would be. Recently, I don't know, maybe a year or two back, there were all those pedophile stories in Britain. So my dad was very scared about me chatting online and stuff like that.
Experts say that at least 70% of these young people are unable to form real-time relationships.
The virtual relationships are increasing because real-time relationships are deteriorating. There's a shift in the society from actually being able to form relationships because one of the main reasons having time constraint. And secondly, there is a conventional to a contemporary shift in the value system where we see that the commitment and responsibility into relationships is becoming very, very minimal.
Digital dating gives young people an adrenaline kick because it is fun and fast. But despite the thrill of having 100 potential cyber suitors, there is absence of real-life physical connection. It is ironic that in this age of communication, face-to-face interaction has become that much more difficult. This is Deepthi Sachdeva for NDTV.
That's the question we're asking you tonight. Digital dating, is it safe to find love on the net? SMS us at India Space Yes if you agree, or India Space No to 6388. If you don't, the vote is very divided right now, so SMS us your views to tilt the balance. But let's just now go across to our guest. Joining me for more on that, virtual internet cupid Anupam Mittal, the founder of Shadi.com. Also joining me from Bangalore, where many techies faced irregular hours have little choice but to search the net for partners, psychiatrist Dr. Ravi Shankar Rao. In Delhi, our guest who doesn't want his name disclosed but hasn't had a good experience with online dating, and from Ahmedabad, a couple who found love at first sight. They're now married, Abhay and Anahita Venugopal. They tell us how we met. Abhay and Anahita, let me start with the happy ending, as it were. Tell us how you met. Are you from very different backgrounds? How did the internet actually connect you?
Actually, I'm an Hindu. I come from Bangalore, and I was looking for a friend. Basically, I wanted somebody to talk to. And although I was registered on Shaadi.com, I couldn't really interact with anybody unless they came online. That's when I came across Fropper, which is also a sister concern of Shaadi.com. And there I found that you have forum section where you could openly interact with people. So when I registered on Fropper, I started looking for friends there. And the same thing happened that she was also looking on the same site. And we kind of met each other in the sense that I had a very unique name. I had named myself as Ahmedabad King. So it was like, you know, people wanted to know who is this Ahmedabad King. So I started getting taps from almost every person who came on the net. Who is this great guy? So that's how come she came online, and she too wanted to know who was this Ahmedabad King. And I started making friends with all those people who buzzed me.
Right.
And I found that her interaction with me, it sounded more honest like. So I started building up relationships with her. It was very easy, I felt, on the internet, because in a way you could say whatever you wanted to say without really having to know who that person is. But then we found that we were more like honest to each other than other people.
Right.
So that's how we met, and that's how we started a relationship.
Nahita, it sounds excellent and it's had a very happy ending, but you know, especially in the Indian context, the word friend, when it's used, just open interaction. Now that's something which doesn't happen socially at all. The net somehow removes its inhibitions. Did you have to overcome any mental mind blocks before getting onto a site to meet people, to meet friends, as it were?
Well, when I went on Fropper.com, I just wanted to make some very good friends. My intention was nowhere that I will find my soulmate over there. What Abhaya said was rightly said, that he too was looking out for a friend, and when I saw Ahmedabad King, I just jumped up. I said, who is this guy from Bangalore calling himself an Ahmedabad King? Let me go and talk to him. And things started moving. See, it does happen that people come through various backgrounds, and they're sometimes cheated also on the net. But somewhere I'm very lucky on that part. Okay, how many ever friends I've made, that is made from Fropper.com, which has given me friends for life. You won't believe, we got married through Fropper, and 12 people all from USA, from all over India attended our wedding. So I was very happy that, you know, once when I was not feeling like getting married, and there I go and find somebody of a very different background and a social setup, and I'm going to, I mean, I was very happy about it. So I don't think there's anything wrong about it.
That's excellent, really a love story of our times. But let me now go across to somebody who's had a different experience. He doesn't want his name to be used, but if I can go across to my guest in Delhi. You've had very different experiences on this internet and digital dating. It worked out very well for Abhay and Nahita. The Ahmedabad King turned out to be a guy who was her soulmate. What happened with you when you got onto digital dating?
That's a bit clarification. Firstly, like, I have been dating online for the last 4 months only, but I know someone who was dating a guy staying abroad for over 5 years without meeting each other once. They fell in love while talking to each other. They exchanged photographs, they did video conferencing. They decided to get married. The guy came over to India for a few days for the engagement and the wedding, and within 7 days of the wedding, he left her saying that he didn't like what she looked like. So this is the experience of someone I know.
Right. Have you actually experimented with digital dating yourself? I mean, maybe just trying to find friends on the internet?
Last 4 months, and met 2 people. Both lasted a couple of weeks. The first time, probably I did not meet up to her expectations. In the second time, as was previously described, the physical description given on the profile was totally different to the actual physical characteristics of the person when I met her. So it was more of a rude shock to me. Right. That was the second time.
So knowing the pitfalls, why did you actually get on to the internet? Do you think that in this stressful world, all of us are so busy, that it actually is a viable alternative to traditional matchmakers and meeting people in your social circle? Why do you still log on to the internet to look for friends?
I have had 2 relationships lasting 8 years in real time, as someone said earlier. And in Deepti's report, as you saw, I'm that guy who said that because of the field that I work in, and I don't have a big social circle of friends, I do not get to meet women so frequently. So it gives me the opportunity, as in to meet more number of people without there being any restriction on the location from where the person is, to meet that special someone.
Right.
It's, for me, it's just like meeting someone in office or in your neighborhood or at a party. So just one more location where you can meet someone.
Right.
And since I have been using the internet for 8 or 9 years, I'm quite comfortable with it. So I take my precautions, and so it's quite okay for me.
Right. Well, let me get in now Anupam Mittal, the actual founder of Shaadi.com. Mr. Mittal, in a society which still tends in many ways to be conservative, what actually led you to promote a matrimonial service on the internet?
Well, Sonia, it was part chance, and we were kind of looking for different opportunities on the internet, and it occurred to me by chance. I happened to meet people who kind of did this for a living, matchmakers, traditional matchmakers, and it occurred to us that in a country that's so obsessed with marriage, the opportunity to meet a potential life partner or someone of the opposite sex is such few. Right? I mean, if you look at our country and you look at our workplaces, typically the gender divide is pretty large, and even if you socially, it's not very acceptable to date, at least in the smaller towns. And our country is really fascinated with the idea of marriage, so it made sense to sort of take away the spatial and geographical limitations that the real world imposes and put all this up on the internet, and thereby provide more opportunities to people.
But what about the hazards? What about the fact that there could be cons? What about the fact that, I mean, this instance where somebody came and met a girl, married her, and after 3 days said he didn't actually know her at all, it was just through cyberspace, and left. How would Shaadi.com safeguard against this, or should people on the internet be careful of the hazards before they log on?
So good question, Sonia, and a couple of points I want to make here. First of all, you know, the internet should be looked at as another medium to meet somebody. It shouldn't be the only medium or the only way to meet somebody else. And one has to take precautions. If you heard the gentleman before this, he was talking about how somebody spoke to somebody of the opposite sex for 5 years before they actually, you know, and they decided to get married without actually meeting each other. So I don't think that's something that one should really sort of needs to take time out to get to know the other person, meet in a public place, and use all the precautions you would if you met a stranger at a park or something. Ultimately, human beings are social animals, and internet dating is simply a virtual representation of us human beings wanting to mingle with each other. So it's right. Sort of a lounge, a club, a social club, or even library online. The other point that I want to make is that just because metal can be used to make guns doesn't mean we stop making bridges. Okay. So I think with every invention comes the danger that it can be misused. It has to be properly managed and channeled so that we can get the best out of it.
Okay, let me just go across now to Dr. Rao in Bangalore. Now, Bangalore, the famous tech city, hundreds of young people there logging on to actually meet partners. You've heard the different viewpoints. What would your advice be to young people, people from all ages actually, who want to log on to find love?
Well, there are positive aspects to it and there are negative aspects too. Among the positive aspects, with globalization, I guess it is a very useful medium where matchmaking is made easier and where certain of your anxieties are taken care of. Like without giving your identity, you exchange a lot of aspects about yourself, and there's an opportunity to know each other without a formal date.
Right.
So having said this, there are also these negative aspects that go with it. For example, the real identity is hidden, and there is scope for misperception of language. You tend to fall in love with the language rather than with the person, and you reach higher levels of intimate relationship without really being emotionally involved, and there lies the problem.
Right.
And of course, with in our society where the seniors always guiding us, where this guidance is missing, then it becomes a real issue. Ultimately, I think it would depend upon the maturity of the person and the preparedness of the person to use this medium.
Right. Well, Dr. Rao, thanks so much. But let me leave really with going back to Abhay and Anahita, and just to say thanks so much and all the very best. But for all those who've been watching, a reminder, as Mr. Mittal put it, as our other experience said, be careful. This is just the first introduction. Before you decide to marry someone, before you decide to get involved, take all the normal precautions you would as if you met someone in a park. Still ahead on India 60 Minutes, we'll have lots more. Let's just look at what our final vote was also on verdict tonight. Well, the verdict seems to have gone in this case against digital dating. A majority seem to say that no, it's not really safe just yet. Over 70% have said no. It's not safe to find love on the net. So Indians are still a bit cautious, but that clearly changing, as Abhay and Anahita says.